Hello, Toastmaster and the most welcome guests. Welcome to the advanced Adrian Speaker Masterclass Speak Meeting. My name is Sham. I am the subject for the today meeting. Before starting the meeting, there are 3 ground rules we need to follow. First, please stay mute until it's your turn to speak. Second, we encourage you to turn on the camera for wonderful audience interaction. If you are convenient, please. Third, the meeting will be recorded. If you are not comfortable to be recorded, we are welcome to turn off your camera. But please stay in the meeting to enjoy and learn as much as you can. Now, let's put our hands together to welcome our present distinguished Toastmaster Patricia Yap to the virtual city.
Yay! Thank you everyone for tuning in our power series, The Power of Love. I want to acknowledge our very special esteemed couple of inspiration today. Without them, there will not be any power series. We started not too long, but not too long ago, not too short ago as well. I think what we have experiencing is really a miracle. And because of that, Alicia and I figured we have to invite Rosetta and of course Tom to be back again. And before I invite them to the virtual stage, is so important for me to also acknowledge some of our guests who are here with us. So we want to welcome Area Director Jeffrey, and of course Vitaly all the way from Ukraine, big round of applause, Madam Kaur from Telo Intan, and certainly our past Area Director Betty as well. Betty is always very supportive. And also, of course, our very young, sweet Yannicka, Area Director, and also serving in the District 119 as a webmaster. So huge round of applause to all of you. And before we kickstart, before I hand the control over to our introducer, I just want to invite everyone to chant with me. It's very simple. I'll demonstrate it. The first line is, I have the power. The second line, you have the power. And the third line, we have the power. Are you guys ready? If you are ready, thumbs up. 3, 2, 1. I have the
power.
You
have the
power. And we have the
power.
Now, I would like to introduce the introducer, my sister from another mom, Sister Alicia Curtis. She's currently a full-time student. I'm so inspired. But at the same time, she has served as district officer and also senior officer in many districts. Multiple districts, 70, 69, certainly also District 100, District 49, and now she is currently at District 119. Everyone knows her. And in fact, she introduced Rosetta and Tom to be with all of us. So with this, I shall now hand the virtual stage over to Alicia. Take it away.
Thank you very much, Sister Pat. That's the virtual pretend gavel. We've got to go with flow. Fellow Toastmasters and guests, today we have the pleasure of hearing from Rosetta and also Tom. So I'm going to introduce both of them because they do have a detailed biography and I do want to respect both of their biographies. So we'll start with Rosetta. Rosetta Walker is the Queen of Inspiration, and that is actually a registered trademark for her, and is a multi-award winning artist, a member of Toastmasters International, a member of District 52 Speakers Bureau. She served as president of 2 Toastmasters clubs, vice president of public relations of 2, and she is now serving as the District 52 Division C director. Rosetta is a best-selling author with motivator Les Brown and other world leaders in the Mission Unstoppable book. With over 25 years of experience, she hosted her own radio showcast and host. She is an actress and was listed as an Oscars consideration for Best Supporting Actress for her role in the movie Canaan. I hope that's the way it's said, Canaan or Canaan Land. Moreover, Walker is a gospel singer-songwriter, entrepreneur, owner, and CEO of Walker Records Productions in California, R.D. Walker Publishing BMI, and is the president of Rosetta Creations Limited. her multimedia corporation located in New York. She's also the founder of Rosetta Walker Outreach Ministries, purpose-driven, using her God-given talents. As a certified life coach, spiritual counselor, and leader, Rosetta helps people to become a better version of themselves, helping them to deal with everyday life and overcome past failures. Her mission is to love, empower people during their life journey, and encourage them to achieve their dreams, hopes, and goals in life. You are never too old to set a new goal. And here is a bit about her fiance, Toastmasters accredited speaker, Time Island distinguished Toastmaster, Toastmasters International accredited speaker, distinguished Toastmaster, and human potential life coach, 2 times Guinness World Record holder, multi-award winning best-selling author, traveling around the world with his message. He is driven to help people become their best version. Thomas Ireland, pronounced like Ireland, was diagnosed with autism at 13 years old. Since accepting his diagnosis, Thomas has been recognized as an award-winning author and thought leader. He left his career as a certified public accountant in 2015 to become a keynote speaker, certified human potential coach, and diversity, equity, and inclusion consultant. He's now the owner of Come to Life Coaching, which is based on the title of his best-selling book, Come to Life, Your Guide to Self-Discovery. His mission is to empower individuals on and off the autism spectrum to live the life of their choice. Thomas has spoken at the United Nations, gave a TEDx talk titled How to Come to Life, and is one of 95 accredited speakers from Toastmasters International in the world, and the only person on the autism spectrum to achieve this designation. Thomas currently lives in Santa Clarita, California, USA, with his beloved fiancée, Rosetta, and recently received Junior Chamber International prestigious 10 Outstanding Young Americans Toya Award, and has finished 6 marathons, 2 half Iron marathons, triathlons, 2 Ironman full triathlons, and recently broke his own Guinness World Record as the world's oldest person with autism to finish a full Ironman triathlon. Please welcome to our lovely virtual lectern today, Thomas Ireland, distinguished Toastmaster and accredited speaker, and of course, Rosetta Walker, the Queen of Inspiration. And their topic today is the power of love. Take it away.
Thank you very much for having us this evening, or evening for us anyway, where we are here in Santa Clarita, California. And we look forward to discussing the power of love with you today. I think you'll find out it's more than just a song by Huey Lewis and the News. There's a lot to what it means to us and what it can mean to you and your lives. And we look very, very much forward to speaking with you today.
The power of love. Love is an intense feeling of deep affection. And we're going to talk more about what love means to us and hopefully talk about what it could possibly mean to you.
I actually have a mantra I want to share with you. Some of you may have known about it from past speeches I've done for this club in Toastmasters. A mantra that I used to develop my first book, Come to Life, was know yourself, love yourself, be yourself. That mantra again, know yourself, love yourself, be yourself. Because knowing who you are first and foremost is the beginning of all wisdom. And how can you love something if you don't know truly what it is or what it means? So knowing who you are, what you want, what you love, and what you can offer the world provide a strong foundation for creating and maintaining love and loving relationships in your life.
The thing I would like to say when it comes to love, you can love people in different ways. We have a love for our parents, love for children, love for a pet. I can say that, use an example, me and Tom, right off the bat, we saw each other. We didn't know much about one another. And that is a process of getting to the point of learning to love someone or falling in love with someone, which I think we're going to talk about the first that we have on our list is to foster empathy.
Basically, having first and foremost a good relationship with yourself. And I'll share a little golden nugget with you as far as my relationship with myself and also creating relationships with others, particularly when it comes to the concept of empathy. Raise your hand if you have heard about empathy before. Basically, the saying like putting yourself in another person's shoes, not literally in their shoes or wearing them, but thinking about where they are, what they're going through, and how you might be able to relate to them on some level. That's not always easy for someone on the autism spectrum, being able to think about how others might be feeling or how the cause, or rather the effects of my actions might have on them. But one thing that I did fairly recently, particularly as I was transitioning out of my accounting career and into a speaking career, I took up meditation. Meditation really helped me become more aware of how I was feeling, bettered my emotional intelligence, and really made me think about what other people were experiencing, what they were going through, what struggles they had, and how I might be able to help them with those things. And as I started thinking less about myself and more about others, that really made for better empathy. And I would agree, Daphne, meditation helps us in awareness, both how we are and how others are. So in creating that fostering that empathy, that better emotional intelligence really improved my relationships.
Yes. And I agree with you with that. And when you begin to connect to others, I can think back even to my childhood. Some of the things I've been through. I made it my cause in life and my purpose in life to reach out to others, people that might be going through challenging things, some things you might have struggled through in your childhood, now you're adult. Even though you're adult, those things you've been through don't just disappear. They stay right there in your mind and sometimes in your heart. So finding that connection and being able to understand how someone else feels, I want to make an impact on those people to help them to reach out, to be able to love. Because if you don't love yourself, as some of you always say, RuPaul said.
Yeah, if RuPaul says, if you can't love yourself, how can you love someone else? Can I get an amen on that?
Right. So if you don't never learn how to really feel good about you inside, to love you through all your imperfections, how can you really be effective in showing your love and connect with someone else?
And also it helps see that we are part of something bigger and greater than ourselves, and that we are more closely connected than we may think we are. Like, even though we're coming from various parts of the globe right now, we are here in this moment, connecting in this moment. And I saw something in the chat earlier about it's not just human beings, but all living beings as well. Your relationship with all the living beings on the earth, all the creatures, all the people, anything that lives and breathes.
And I would like to share a story with you all about connecting. When I first met Tom, as I was talking about earlier, we were at an event and we did make eye connection. That was a connection right there. But once we got to know each other and became friends, I noticed that we would talk on the phone. And on Tuesdays, well, it was on Wednesdays, Tuesday nights when he had improv. And on Thursday, it was Outliers, Toastmasters.
Yep.
So I'm thinking, we talk all the time, all day long. Long distance relationship. But when it came to those certain nights, he would get off the phone and say, I got to go to a Toastmasters meeting. And I started thinking, what is going on with Toastmasters that he's getting off the phone with me? Well, let me tell you this. Instead of me getting upset, come on, you all been in relationships. Sometimes you get upset with the person. You pull away, you reject, you resist what they're doing. When I didn't do that, I decided to connect to what he's doing. And that's what we're talking about, connecting. This is cultivating love, cultivating a connection that you're going to need to be helpful in a relationship. Even if it's, as we said, different types of love, different type of relationships you can have. So I decided to join Toastmasters too. Now think about that. Because of joining and connecting with him, falling in love with him, now I have a whole nother family with you all, Toastmasters, and that love spreads to you as well.
And if that hadn't happened, we wouldn't doing a speech like this right now. And I had to make sure that I made her feel special and And I could understand, like, I have to stop our call so I could go on another call with Toastmasters. But for her to be able to take on this journey with me and be able to create more material, more stories through our own journey. So it's not just our own individual journeys, but we have our own that we are taking together and bringing that into this environment. So wouldn't you agree that two heads are better than one?
Which leads us to boundaries. Now, as we're talking about different ways of love, different people you can love, it could be your pet, your children, family, best friend. Boundaries, you have to have those. Have you ever been friends with someone that don't respect your boundaries? Have you ever experienced that? Raise your hand if you experienced a person disrespecting your boundaries. See, that's not a good thing, because when you're in a situation where a person is not respecting your boundaries, is that true love? Is that unconditional love? Or is that being disrespectful?
And as I look at some of my coaching clients, and my primary coaching clientele are young men on the autism spectrum, and they often struggle with saying no. And mind you, having and holding a boundary could be as simple as saying no when you really mean it. Because when I was younger, I was a yes man. I wanted to make people happy. I thought if I did what others wanted, that they would be friends with me or they would like me. It turns out I was being used, even abused. And I didn't have it in me at the time, at least, to say, I don't want this, or no, that's not what I'm looking for. I don't want to do that. And so before I know it, I found myself living a life that wasn't mine, doing things I didn't want to do, and my happiness deteriorated. And even people who you think are your friends, or people who you think have your back, may actually not always be there for you. Anybody here ever been said, or you've been told, I'll be your friend if, or if you do something for me, I'll be your friend? Well, guess what? That's not unconditional love. That's not a real friendship.
Right.
That person should love you for you and not want to use you or
Yeah.
something you have.
Or you only get a phone call from them, or maybe a text or an email when they want something or when they need something. If a person is your friend, like Alicia was saying earlier today, even though we're thousands of miles away, we still communicate online. We have some type of communication. You know, and with Patsy, some of you here that we're friends with, we still have some type of communication. When a person has zero communication with you, unless it's that phone call, can I borrow? Do you have this? Can you do this for me? Can you do that for me? That's not going to be good for you healthy. And we want you to be healthy, strong, mentally, emotionally, and physically. Because do you know, when you go through so much stress mentally, it's going to affect you physically. It will eventually affect the body. And you want the power of love to keep everything strong, your body, your mind, your heart, and your soul.
And I've found over the years, and particularly with meditation, I was mentioning earlier, it's about finding and maintaining your inner peace. Because if you feel uneasy or like something is not well on the inside, it's going to show outside, be it your physical appearance, the company you keep, the people you're hanging out with, your performance at work or around the house or with family, friends. So making sure that you are all right with yourself. You're going with what truly makes you feel all right. And also making sure you take care of yourself when you are feeling exhausted or at the point where you have to say, stop, I need to take a break.
Mhm. That's right. And it's very important that those lines of communication is very, very clear, because we can oftentimes find ourselves in situations because we don't speak up and we don't have those difficult conversations. I can remember when Tom and I first got into the relationship, we moved from being friends to now we're in a relationship, that we had the tough conversations. Tell me the things that you like. What is it that you don't like? Because when you don't have the tough conversations and you go along with something because you want to be that person's friend, or because you want that particular job, or because you want to be in a certain position, it's going to come back to haunt you. So it's never good to put yourself in a situation where you're not being authentic and you're not being your true self.
And I have a saying that I use with my clients that the most difficult conversations are also the most necessary. I'll repeat that. The most difficult conversations are also the most necessary. Sometimes we keep quiet because we don't want to get rejected. We don't want to be seen as the problematic person, or we don't want to rock the boat or disturb the peace. But you know what? That may very well be what actually needs to happen. You need to say what needs to be said, or you're going to get more of what is hurting you instead of going after what could help you.
Yeah, because what you resist persists. The more you say you don't want it, the more that negativity is coming your way. So you've got to discuss things that you need to talk about. Don't just let it bottle up inside and then you hold it in, and then when it explodes, now you're saying words you can't take back. Now you're saying things that you may regret later. And that's not going to be a healthy way of having a conversation. So if you're thinking right now is a situation that maybe you had with a loved one, a friend, or maybe someone you work with, or a coworker, somebody that you're associated with, you might have to go back and have that conversation. But do it when you're ready to have it, and have that conversation when they are ready, that you can come to the table and discuss some things that you need to discuss. It's going to be difficult. It may be something even painful, but you got to have that conversation because you want that bond to be there. And what Tom and I have learned, and we have experienced, that when we talk about those difficult conversations, we become even closer.
Because a good relationship is one that's built on trust, one that you can let your guard down with that person, say what needs to be said without necessarily worrying about hurting someone's feelings, because it's worse to keep it inside and eat away at you and your significant other or the other person involved versus letting it out and then doing the next step or the next thing from there. Ever heard the saying, better out than in? Because I know I kept a lot of stuff bottled up for a long time and it only ate away at me and I felt worse off for it. But once I got out, yes, it was difficult to say it, but it actually felt like the weight of the world was off my shoulders once I finally got it out. What needed to be said, what needed to be done, and then moved forward from there.
And it's building trust. Sometimes in life, it's hard for us to trust someone because we've been hurt in the past. And I know we have all experienced hurt. We have all been in a situation where that trust might not be there. And that's a normal human feeling because we've all been through something. The key to it is, how do you get through it, and can you get through it? And some things you can get through because you can work it together. But it's going to have to take a team, and it may not happen overnight. It may not be solved instantly, but it can develop over time. And I can tell you this, unconditional love will get you through it all. I have a best friend she's an area director for C30 and District 52. And we've been friends for 30 years, and we've had some ups, we've had some downs, but she is like a sister to me. Has it been perfect, our friendship, the whole time? Of course not. But you know, it's always been, I've always had her back and she's always had mine. And those type of relationship exist, but you got to get rid of the toxic people, because sometimes that very person you think is your friend, you find out they're not.
And on that note, there was an author I heard about, maybe some of you have heard of him, Jim Rohn, Jimrohn. He developed something called the Law of Five. It states that you are the average of the 5 people you spend most of your time with. So take a moment to think about the 5 people that you spend most of your time with, that you associate with the most. Are these people that have your back, that bring you up, make you feel good about yourself at the end of the day? Or might they be holding you back, make you feel bad about yourself, and maybe you get a bad taste in your mouth after having a conversation with them? Maybe an energy vampire, someone who makes you feel like you're dying inside, or like the life, the energy, if you will, is being sucked out of you. Or someone toxic who just wants to talk about their problems all day and not ask you about you and how you're doing. There are so many people out there that can weigh us down, and it's on us to manage those relationships, whether it's spend less time with them if possible, find a better way to communicate with them, maybe even delegate if it's possible to not involve them or have someone else handle the task or what have you with that person, because it all comes back to your inner peace.
Yeah. And it looks like we have a minute or so left. And I just want to say that having the top 5 people in your life makes a difference. I can remember Les Brown was in my top 5. Being a part of the Recording Academy is because of one of the directors in my top 5. These different things I've accomplished in life came from surrounding myself with these people that are already doing what I want to do. They're already achieving these goals, and I was able to do it as well. So I just want you to keep in mind, if somebody is being negative to you, they're not encouraging you and empowering you. Love what encourages. Love is unconditional. Love does not judge. It's empowering. So knowing you have that love surrounded you, you're going to always be okay. And you're going to always experience that power, the power that comes only from love.
And you're right, Daphne, love is empowering. I'm seeing that in the
Yes.
chat there.
Okay.
So to summarize, starting with love for yourself first, because once you take care of number 1, make sure you're all right. That's going to help your relationships tremendously. Think about your relationship with others. It's not always about you. Being able to empathize with others. Think about how you might be able to help somebody else that might be struggling. And also think about the people out there, what kind of relationships you want to create and maintain. And every now and then we may need to reevaluate the relationships in our lives if we want to maintain our inner peace and ultimately make the world a better place. Because when we are at our best selves, when we create relationships that make us even better, that leads us to even better people down the road. We look forward to the Q&A portion and any other questions you may have in this meeting. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Tom and Rosetta. So if we can have all our screens on and give them a huge round of applause. Yay! This is the pat, the full circle clap. We really want
Around the world.
around the world.
It's a round of
Around the
applause.
world. That's right. That was amazing.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. And I will now close my part as the Toastmaster of the day. I want to thank you both, Tom and Rosetta. Every time we've asked you to come to our club, you have been more than happy to come to our club and to be a part of our session. So we are very grateful. And it's been great getting to know you over the last couple of years as well. I'm now going to hand over to our FAQ master. Our FAQ master is Patsy. And Patsy will take it away. And I think Pat may want to step in now and take a photo because I do have to drop off very shortly.
Absolutely. We shall now take a group photo. Give us a very lovely, lovely dolly, whatever it is, a very loving look. And spam us with the love emoticon if you can. Yep, photographer. Let me see. Shan, are you able to? Hey, Alif. Okay, Alif, our
Okay.
good.
I'm somewhere. I can't switch on the video right now. Sorry
Yeah.
about that.
That's okay. Yeah, we're gonna take a group photo. So if you're able to, just turn on your video, spam us with a lot of love, and see if Shan, if you can help us as well. I will take as well. All right, we'll just wait for a few more seconds. If you're able to turn on, please do so. Otherwise, it's fine. Great. Thank you so much. Spam us with the love emoticon. On my count, 3, 2, 1. All right, one more. One more. 3, 2, one. Thank you so much for being here with us. We absolutely enjoyed the session. It's so important to know more about love. Love, as we all know, is one of the highest frequencies we're going to work on. Certainly, thank you so much, Alicia, for leading us. And now, Patsy Wu, our very, very, I would say, famous celebrity to moderate not only English, but as well as Mandarin as well. She's going to lead the session. So let's give it up to Patsy Wu, all the way from Taiwan, FAQ Master.
Great. That was certainly my honor hosting this Q&A session. If members, you have any question, please send in the chat box directly to me. My first question actually is, I have a first priority. I'm going to ask both of you, talking about conversation, what is the most difficult conversation you guys ever had? Either one of you.
Speaking from individual experience, and I also see this with my clients, my parents are very protective of me. I'm their firstborn. I'm on the autism spectrum, and they're sometimes concerned about what's happening with me and may even in some ways underestimate my potential. And I've had to stare them straight in the face and say, you need to let me go. I have to go out there and see what's out there for me. You may not always approve of my choices, but they are mine, and I accept them. So, family, our own flesh and blood. Those are some of the difficult conversations in my experience that had to be had. And I would say that I think I'm doing all right for myself, and my parents are seeing a difference, particularly since this woman entered my life.
I understand, absolutely. You're from Irish family, isn't it? Is that correct?
My family, yes, my family does hail from Ireland.
Yeah.
Okay, Tom, I have an Irish name. I know Irish a little bit. I can understand where that comes from. Right. Okay. Yeah. So how about Rosanna? What was the most difficult conversation you ever had with Tom?
What he just said, I would say it would be meeting his family. I think because they didn't expect him to be in a relationship with someone that he would even consider getting married. So I think them meeting me and find out that he's really serious about me, I felt like I had to go through a whole checklist. She's a good person for him. I really felt that I had to really prove myself as a good woman and that I love him. And that's fine with me because I do love him. So I can understand that. But yeah, that can be a little difficult sometimes when you're dealing with, in my case, soon to be in-laws. But because of the power of love, I have learned to love him, and we've gotten used to being around each other. And I've had a chance to really gel really good with the family. But in the beginning, it was a little difficult.
Yeah, I'm sure everything will work out fine because of power of love. And love is a strong, it's our backbone. Yeah, that's great. My second question is from Duncan. Duncan is questioning and asking, what kind of meditation, Tom, that you embark? Did you ask for the professional going to the classes, or is it something like religious? Please, Tom.
I attended a martial arts training center years back, and they have a full-fledged meditation room in their center, and the classes they have are free. And I was able to go in there and do Zazen rituals. I did some transcendental meditation. And so I know a couple of procedures and processes with that. And I found it to be very enlightening. And I think even my longevity, endurance, inner health, I think it's even helped me look younger and live longer. So that's some of the benefits, or how I first got access to meditation.
Thank you for sharing, Tom. Transcendental meditation, as a matter of fact, I learned that as well. That's why you call mantra. The first opening, I believe you mentioned mantra a few times. Can you elaborate? I'll give you about 2 minutes. Please elaborate these different unique meditation. Thank you.
Yeah.
If you had something you wanted to add.
Also with candle, can you pass me a candle?
Yes, we have a
Something
candle
that
here.
we do that we have burning right now is a candle.
This is
That's a candle.
it's
a
a little,
green
it's a little
one.
hot here, but
It's a
this,
little hot, but
it's an abundance candle.
yeah, it's
abundance.
candle. So we burn candles, and that's something that we do daily. And I think it's very important. I know when I first started living here with them, and I talked about it, I said, I like to burn candles. I said, because to me, it's soothing. It sets a good vibration. And also sometimes I burn incense because I also like a certain smell. I feel that those things are very important when you meditate because it takes you to a different place and it puts you in a good place in your mind.
And the other day I was actually listening to a sound bath where they have those bowls and they have the doom, doom.
Yeah.
So creating that calming atmosphere and being able to take a moment to sit in silence with your thoughts, focus on your breathing.
Yeah, definitely focus on your breathing.
That definitely helps a lot, particularly when things are hectic or we're at something where we need to find out, okay, we're at a little bit of a crossroads in something that's happening in our lives. Do we go this way? Do we go that way? Let's meditate on this.
Okay, so which means also doing the meditation that also gives you directions. Did you mean that, right? That's not only release the stress, but also that your mind is more clear, then you're giving a different direction.
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yeah.
It does, and it helps me also tap into my own instincts, because I think that's another thing that I've had to come to terms with, particularly with my folks. I would put my trust or my decisions in them instead of looking at my own instincts. Like, what does my heart, my gut, my mind tell me? Don't have them be the decision makers. I have to start doing what's right for me. Listen to my own intuition versus someone else.
Yeah.
So that's where meditation has helped with me.
That is a great sharing. Love yourself, understand yourself, then be yourself. That's exactly what you said. The next question is from Alicia. She said, both of you represent diversity at the greatest level. How do you feel each other complements each other?
I'm sorry, what complements each other? Diversity. Oh,
yes, that's right.
And given that we both come from very unique backgrounds, and we're actually going to be writing a book about this in the future called They Said We Couldn't, So We Did, Making Relationships Work When the Odds Are Against You. Because given our backgrounds, me being a white man on the autism spectrum, she being a Black woman not on the autism spectrum, we each have our own backgrounds, families, ways of life. And as that comes together in a relationship, there's going to be some clashing, but it's also very beneficial because we both offer perspectives the other didn't have before.
Yeah.
And we approach things with both heads put together and decide, okay, how can we make this work?
And that was something that came into the play with, as he was saying earlier, the obvious diversity that we have going on. Also with religion, because as you all know, I'm an ordained minister. So with that coming into his play, I think his family was concerned, am I going to have him knocking on doors saying, hey, worship Jesus? And I was thinking, no, I'm not that type of person. For me, spiritual means you're seeking God, how you see, how you need to seek him. And that's the understanding that he and I have. So to me, it's been good because of what he brings to the table. And then with me coming to the table, for me to keep on a spiritual realm, but us coming together, no matter how we look on the outside, the color of our skin, no matter our backgrounds, whether, he's on the spectrum, I am not, but yet we're able to make this work. And that's something we want to keep telling people. Love, it conquers all. Right?
It really does. And also
all.
loving who you want to love. And I know in some parts of the country, you can't be in a relationship with somebody under certain laws. We want to encourage people to find the person that makes your heart sing and you can build a good life with together versus living in shame or having the stigma around that.
Wow, that's the power of love, plus the power of diversity that broaden our life in many, many ways. Well, what a great relationship. Next question is from Jeffrey. He's talking about vacationing. I think there's probably a great vacation is coming up. And Jeffrey like to know, what is your favorite vacation? Do you guys are taking vacation a lot or more? So please share.
We've traveled quite a bit for speaking engagements that I've had. We've been to Dubai. We went to Dar es Salaam, Tanzania last December. We've been to London together. We're going to that neck of the woods again for our honeymoon next September. We've also traveled the United States quite a bit. We have a goal to see Paris, France one day. We'd like to see what that's like. We've both been to Hawaii. I think we're overdue for a trip there
Yeah.
as well one of these days. So there's a lot of places we have been and would like to go.
Yeah.
And hopefully Australia. Yes,
Yes.
Alicia, very much.
Yes, Australia, definitely. And speaking of love, we also love to taste food everywhere we go. Because we go to different countries, places we've never been before. I want to taste the food. We go to Australia. I want some of that Australian beef. I heard it's delicious. I want to taste that.
And I had kangaroo in Cairns 20 minutes ago, 20 years ago on a family trip. And I want to taste crocodile next if I'm ever in Australia again.
Yeah.
And Thailand. I've never been to Thailand. I would very much like to go there.
Yeah.
That's wonderful. Then you know all the friends, the Toastmasters, you can visit. Come to Canada, Calgary. Sometimes have national park, Banff. Yeah, Lake Louise. Why not? Yeah, coming August, September. Right. So we got the friends everywhere. The next question. Oh, it's like okay. Back to Core, Toastmaster Core asks, question from Malaysia. How do you handle toxic relationship or people? Do you stay away or do you tell her or him? That is not right. That was a question from Toastmaster Core.
Yes, I see it in the chat. And usually I tend to work on a bit of a card system. So if anybody here plays or has seen soccer played, the referees will have a yellow card, which means caution, and a red card, which means removal or ejection. So I have a mental note to myself, if this person has done something that warrants a warning or a yellow card, like that's your first and final warning. This happens again, or if this behavior continues or something like it, I'm gonna have to let you go.
Yeah.
And sometimes you have to be explicit about what is right and what is not right about what's happening in a relationship or a friendship. So the bad stuff or the unpleasant stuff is dealt with and the good stuff can continue.
Yeah. And that's something he and I talked about when we first got into a relationship together. Some friends I had got kicked to the curb. Some friends he had got kicked to the curb. And some friends we had together. So people that were open to our relationship, they continue to be friends with both of us. And then our friendship expanded out that we have friends together. But yeah, we definitely had to get rid of some people that we thought was toxic or was not supportive of our relationship. They had to go because we don't need that, right?
And particularly on social media, every now and then we might get an odd comment on a post or a random private message that's out of line, and we deal with those.
Yeah, someone's flirting with me or someone flirting with him. It's like, no, we're not doing
do
that.
you know this person? That was a good question. Thank you for that one.
That's definitely, thank you for answering. That is, especially social media, you know, that is really bring people down, and a lot of people get affected. Thank you for the advice. It's very important. Okay, do I still have a time now? Am I running out of time now, or still one more question?
Yeah, one or two, fine.
Okay.
Yeah, one or two
I'm
is
gonna
fine.
ask
That's the question regarding Tiara. Go ahead.
They want to know where she got her crown.
I am going to ask my personal question to Rosetta because I always admire you mark up yourself. All right. This is a beautiful branding. Tell me your secret. Do you have a PR work behind you, or what is the branding and the marketing to mark up? Thank you, Rosetta. You can.
Yes, I have an entertainment attorney that's located in New York, and he has been really good at making sure that I'm branded, that I have my trademark, and that I have the things that I need. Because as you say earlier, when you have to market yourself and things need to be done right, first of all, my attorney, he makes sure everything stays legal, because people don't understand with the entertainment business, everything is all about making sure you're in compliance, making sure that you're doing what the laws you're supposed to follow when it comes to the entertainment business. So yes, his name is Jeffrey Jacobson of the Jacobson firm.
And I saw Alicia's question about the name of the book coming out. I just put it in the chat and they said we couldn't,
Yeah.
so we did.
And somebody asked about the crown.
They were wanting to know where you got your crown.
You want me to answer it? Yes, okay. Well, I got my first crown in London. I did an event entitled Live in London with the Queen of Inspiration. And when I got there for my photo shoot, they had this beautiful red crown. One like this one was a red crown. And then I got invited to come out again. This time it was to Switzerland, and they crowned me with the blue one. So along the way, as I got invited to do different tours, it came with another crown. It's the Queen of Inspiration. So yeah. That's pretty
Right.
cool.
Yeah, it's pretty good. The last question, somebody just asked, why women love men more and they lost their own life when they are in love? How can we overcome this situation? It is something about the love.
Say again.
Why women love, one more time,
Love
please?
men. Why women love men more and they lost their own life when they are in love? How can we overcome this situation? Sometimes the women probably love the man that even more than loving themselves. How can we overcome this situation? It's asked for by a Toastmaster online, right?
Now that's two parts of that question. One can be if it's a healthy relationship or if it's an unhealthy relationship. Because if a woman is so in love with a man that
Yes,
she loses
right.
herself, that's a problem. You do not want to lose yourself in a man. It's a saying that my mom told me when I was a little girl. She's always said, it's okay to love that man, but you better make sure that man loves you just as much as you love him, or not even more. So it's very important. It sounds like when a woman is in that situation that she loves that man more than herself, let's remember we talked about earlier, looking inside of you is something that she's not loving totally about herself. Because when a person can come along and have that much dominance over you, you have lost you. You have lost yourself in the South. So go back to the step one, get yourself grounded. Find out something about yourself that you love and hold on to it. And the third thing, that man needs to show you that respect and love, or it may be a toxic relationship. If it's a relationship where you love your husband, he loves you too, it just seems like you love him more, then do little things to make them show you that love back. You know what to do to keep that man twisted up. So make sure you stay focused on those things. And a lot of times when you talk to a man and you bring that to his attention, I don't feel like you love me. Sometimes men are not always
Yeah.
good at expressing how they feel. You want to take that time, you the man.
And I teach dating and sex ed to people on the autism spectrum. And I've learned over the course of that course and material that I teach about love languages,
Mhm.
the time you spend with somebody, giving gifts, words of affirmation, acts of service, physical touch, all these ways that one gives and receives love. So as our relationship evolves, and even in the beginning stages, we had to find out what makes us feel loved and bring that into the relationship so that it's constantly shown. And also,
Yes.
at least, and I don't know if this is autism or me being a man, but I don't have a crystal ball. I'm not a psychic. I'm not a future predictor. So if it is brought to my attention that something is needed or wanted or needs to change or needs to be addressed, then I will certainly do something
I
about
do
it.
have to tell him.
Yeah.
I do have to tell him, because if I don't say anything, he's gonna assume I'm okay. But when I bring it to his attention, he's like, honey, all you do is ask. And I'm
It's like,
"Oh,
you want to watch a movie?
yeah,
Just ask.
yeah."
But
So
that's
it's important
wonderful,
to get that
isn't
love
it?
language. Yeah, 'cause the person love language could be touch. Somebody else could be spending time. So this person that you're talking about that asked the question, make sure you find out what the love language, both your love language, so you can see where the missing thing is coming in at. 'Cause
Yeah,
he-
exactly. When you love someone, that definitely you know that a person is feelings towards you. So Rosetta That's exactly what I told my daughter as well. And Tom, so much for your sharing as well. Yeah, this is great. I think that my session has been over time, so I'm going to turn the control back to our club president, Patricia. Thank you for
Thank you
sharing.
so much. Thank you to our FAQ master, Patsy. And I thoroughly love the questions. As we probably have noticed right now, we are really focusing more on the love language by Gary Chapman as well. I believe there are a lot more questions coming up, especially on romantic love as well, because I really think romantic love is a part of our life, that way how to manage it. And things are never linear in the first place. So please stay tuned and please stay back as well. The later on that session will not be recorded. So basically you can ask anything, okay? Now we would also like to acknowledge, of course, our esteemed speaker, both Rosetta and Tom. So I'm gonna hand the control over to Sean. Sean is gonna play some slides to acknowledge our esteemed speakers. And on top of that, we will also take photo with everybody. So once again, thank you so much, Rosetta and Tom, to be here to really share with us the power of love. And we'd like to have both of them spotlighted together with me as well. And if you are comfortable and if you are convenient, please unmute yourself and just shout, thank you, Rosetta. Thank you, Tom.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Rosetta. Thank you, Tom.
Thank you,
so much.
Rosetta. Thank you, Tom.
Rosetta, thank you,
Love
Tom.
you.
Thank you very much indeed, Rosetta and Tom. Yeah.
Yes.
So-
All right. Let's quickly take a photo. Yes.
Yeah,
Sean?
let me add the spotlight. Okay, yeah,
Okay.
Sean can take a photo now, right?
And Patsy, can you spotlight and take a photo?
Yes, I have. I'm going to take a photo right now. So 3, 2, power of love.
Yes.
Thank
Power of
you.
love.
Yeah, great.
Thank you. We have another slide with the certificate. Yes, the power of love. Thank you. One more.
One
Now this time
more.
around we put the love. Okay, let me put the love. Love, love, love.
Okay, are you ready?
Yes.
3, 2, power of love.
Yay.
Okay. Thank you.
Great. And we'd like to thank all the role players today, starting from Zoom Master Sean. Alicia has a drop off, but it's okay. Daphne, who actually has been helping us so much as a chat master, and Patsy as well. And later on, Sweet Sin, please come on board and have all of us spotlighted, and we will take a group photo. Thank you so much to all the role players. And of course, use the love button too. All right. It's all about love, 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 love. Let me see.
Okay, I'm adding the spotlight now.
Okay.
Just give me a sec. Yeah,
Yeah.
I have to find
Have to find everyone.
Stephanie. Yeah, that's right. Stephanie, where are
Yeah.
you? Well, I'm trying
you
to
make
find
some noise?
Stephanie.
Yeah, over here.
Okay. Stephanie.
Good.
All right, and spotlight myself as well. Just one sec. That's beautiful. Yeah, Patsy's gonna be to spotlight where I am. I'm going. Oh, okay, I'm here. Right, and the one more is our Patricia. 1, 2, Suishin, please.
Yes, I'm
Suishin, can you wave
here.
your hand?
Can you see
Thank
me?
you. Suishin. All right. Okay. Thank you. Spotlight. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Thank you. Okay, we're all here except Alicia, right?
Yes.
Okay, ready, guys? 1, 2, 3. Thank you. Great. Well done.
Thank you.
Back to
Thank
you.
you. Now remove the spotlight and everyone take a photo, right? So this time around, I want to challenge all of you. Think about how you love yourself. How you love yourself. I would like to capture that moment as well. Show us that facial expression when you so love yourself. Is it going to be look like it? Is it going to look like this? Or like really cool? Or like this? Yeah. Think about how you're going to love yourself. Yes. I can take a photo first and then Patsy will help me to do the next one. All right. So be very courageous. Show us the love for yourself. Be vulnerable as well. All right. So you can hug yourself. You can do whatever you want. And you can spam with love as well. 3, 2, 1. All right. One more love. Love is so important. Love to learn. I love to love myself. I mean, I love to love myself, even though I'm not perfect. Okay, a really cool one, okay? You can love yourself the cool way too. 3, 2, 1. Great. Thank you so much. So it's been an honor to host this masterclass session on the power of love. And certainly, I know you guys have some words to share with both Rosetta and Tom as well. We have a few more minutes before we wrap it up and move to the next session. And we would like to, on my screen, certainly have Janet to say a few words to Tom and Rosetta. It's the first time she's meeting both of them. She's from Penang, by the way. So what did you pick up today, Janet?
Yes, good afternoon, everyone. Love can be vulnerable, but love can also be something warm.
Warm. It's a nice energy. Yeah, I can feel that. Great. Batali, what say you?
It was amazing session. Thank you very much. Very, very interesting, very inspiring. I've never even thought that Thomas could have such disease because it's absolutely invisible. It was very, very interesting, very professional. I really enjoyed this meeting. Thank you for inviting me. It was really great.
Thank you. I have to say, Tom is so courageous and super inspiring. He comes from the neurodiverse background, and Rosetta is neurotypical. And some of us may be neurodiverse as well, but I think the beautiful thing is to show us we can love regardless of who we really are. As long as we embrace the same value, we respect one another, we appreciate one another, that's really the magic. So I'm going to actually hand the session now to ask Rosetta and Tom anything, Master. Sui Sin is actually also currently has to deal with a lot of, I would say, personal challenging moments, but she never stopped loving herself. Why do I say that? Because she always reminds herself to feel good regardless of a challenging moment. She actually is in Myanmar right now. Myanmar is actually not really a great place to be, but somehow she's still doing her very best to certainly love herself as much as we can. So over to you, Sui Sin, who is also the VPE of Advanced #Island Speakers. Go ahead, Sui Sin.
Thank you so much, everyone. So now this is our ex-Rota and Tom anything session, right? Yeah. Okay, so yes, first of all, thank you so much to our both of the speakers for this lovely conversation and like inspiring speech. And one thing I really love all the time was like Rosetta was looking at Tom with love, like she was looking at him a lot of times when she was speaking. That's so lovely when I see all the time. So thank you so much for showing the best example of love in front of all of us. So now is Ask Anything session, and if you have any question, feel free to send the chat, or you can even unmute and ask the question. So any question here? Okay.
I feel Yanika has some question. Yanika, go ahead, please.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to ask Tom, how did you guys understand each other when you're so diverse with your relationship at the beginning, when you know that Tom had autism? How did you guys handle it to be able to share it to your friends and families?
Well, first up, when we first met, it was public domain, like out on the internet, that I am on the autism spectrum. So I wasn't necessarily keeping it in hiding. She could Google me, see on social media that it was out there. As to us being in a friendship and a relationship, open communication was definitely a key factor in making sure that she knew where I was coming from, I knew where she was coming from, and that could address any miscommunications or items that might arise.
And the thing about Tom is when I met him, he told me that he would be one of the speakers. So I thought, well, why would he be? Okay, fine, he's one of the speakers. But I didn't know he was on the spectrum. He introduced himself as Thomas Allen. That's who I got to know. I got to know him as a person first. So I didn't know about his diagnosis till later. Yeah, I could have Googled him. I could have found out more about him, but I didn't do that. I just got to know him for who he is. And then later on, when we got tagged in the picture that we took at that event, that's when I read more about him. But when he told me about it, I was open because I felt like, well, let me look this up. Let me learn more about it because I wanted to be there for him. And I felt the more I know, the better I can be there as being a good mate for him.
And I think that's something that when it comes to the neurodiverse community, and a lot of dating and sex ed information and knowledge does not get shared with these individuals because society, their caregivers, don't think that they're ever going to find someone to love or that they'll love them back. So they don't get taught. And they keep making the same mistakes over and over again. And they never find that inner confidence, like, I will find someone one day. So they just quit. Think they're going to grow up alone and die without having loved. So I really feel that more people inside and outside the neurodivergent communities need to know about love languages, about communication, and maintain that hope that there is someone out there for them. When you commit to loving yourself, others will love you in return.
Thank you so much. So it's like a very ground rule is we have to love ourselves first. If we don't love ourselves, nobody will love us. And that is, yes, that is true. Okay, so there's one more question when you talk about love language. So how can we find out our love language?
I would say if you want to identify your love language, find out when you are happiest, as in what puts a big smile on your face. Like if someone gives you a compliment, you feel pretty good about that. If someone gives you a gift just because, oh, wow, I'm really liking this. Maybe gifts are your love language.
Yeah.
Or maybe someone is spending time with you because time is something you'll never get back. And if someone's really interested in spending time with you, getting to know you, that might mean a lot to you.
Yeah, we took the love language test. And at this time we had a long distance relationship. And Tom scored really, really high on physical contact. So I got to thinking, oh, no, his love language means I need to be there with him. So I understood that, number one. This is his love language, is to be there, to, you know, when he needs that touch, when he needs that consoling. For me, my love language is gift. If you don't give me a gift, I'm like, well, you didn't care. You missed my birthday or you forgot about it.
I've not missed her birthday, but
Which
that was an example.
He didn't miss anything, which means that I would have been okay with a long distance relationship, but what that had done for him, it wouldn't have worked. So I had to understand his love language and make sure I'm doing what I need to do to make sure the relationship is going to go good.
And to reciprocate, I had to understand hers. She likes gifts. She likes words of affirmation, acts of service. So I'm giving to her in that respect. So really, it takes a lot of effort and commitment to be in a relationship. And when things get difficult or something goes wrong, or sometimes people change over time, that needs to be looked at. And that can be difficult whether you're neurodivergent or neurotypical.
Okay, so that's great. Like we need to know our love language, and not only that, we have to know our partner love language also. So we need a lot of effort, and someone is not putting efforts in you, that means it's not real love. That's very amazing point you share. So one more question: can couple be forever in love? Life changes.
I think it's something that definitely needs to be reviewed. And also, I'll tell you something that my late aunt, who was married to my uncle for over 50 years, there's the concept of giving 50-50. Like if a relationship works 50-50, you need to be giving 100-100. Both people involved need to be in it fully throughout, or else that's a sign that something may need to be looked at.
And keep in mind, people can do a thing called falling in and out of love. throughout the years you've been together so long, think about, and I don't want to compare it, but just to go along with what I'm saying, just follow me on this part right here. Like a sibling. You know you love your brother, you love your sister. Well, sometimes you really don't like them right now, right? But it doesn't mean that you don't love them. And that's the same thing in any relationship. You're going to have some good days. You're going to have some bad days. You're going to have some days you're going to say, you know what? I need space. And that's something Tom and I respect each other on that. When one of us needs space, now he's not going to leave out the door without me. That's not going to happen, that kind of space. But space meaning that if you're having a conversation that maybe you don't agree on something, give it some time. But this is the key. You got to go back to it. You can't say I need time and don't go back and talk about it. Because saying you need space and don't address it, it's going to be a problem because it just makes it bigger. So always go back to what you need to discuss. Don't just let it go.
Hey, wow, thank you so much for sharing. Okay, so now we have one more question from Toastmaster Jeffrey. Could you please help me understand if intimidation can be considered a form of love? For instance, when someone says, if you cannot meet me tomorrow, I will commit suicide. How should we address and resolve such a situation?
Patricia, did you have something to say before we answer the question? Or looks like you.
Yeah, I would like to request Sean to stop the recording because the questions are very important, but we would like to only, have the people